we've been really blessed to get a lot of famous people at the restaurant as well from different industries. Right from editors of leading newspapers to movie stars like Rani Mukherjee, Madhuri Dixit, Dia Mirza, a lot of sports personalities like Sachin Tendulkar, Leander Paes, Dhanraj Pillai. I truly feel that humility and good food always go hand in hand. And every guest dining with us, whether famous or not, they feel like they've eaten within the warmth of their own home kitchen. My dad would help my grandmom make curries, cut vegetables, cut the fish, understand what fish requires what gravies. That's how eventually he learned to perfect the art of making our Konkan food.
They were quite well-to-do when he was a child.
Their dad fell sick.
At that time, they didn't feel the pinch, but then slowly, when he stopped working, they faced a lot of financial difficulties. The brothers and his elder sister would fight over the pan pola, which is like a neer dosa. They were so hungry, right? They don't know when their next meal will come or what food will someone get. His mother, she would go for the ration. She would tell them in Konkani, my eldest son is right behind me. He'll pay everything. And they would just look at him. And I remember my father telling me that he would often just put his head down and he would be wondering that what kind of pressure is she putting me in. I don't know what my future is. But she has that much confidence in me that she's going on telling people that Francis is going to pay everything off. He obviously wanted to live up to my grandmother's promise. So he chose to go to Doha, Qatar. He was now allowed to think of himself. So to make it big, you have to go to Bombay. If you do well and if you're talented, Bombay will give it back to you.
He never knew whether it would be in Mahim or which area, but he was scouting for all sorts of places around Bombay, and like the broker would take him everywhere.
And they found a spot in Mahim itself. And when they entered, it was almost like everything was broken,
Somebody was passing by that space and he could hear something slide from the door. And he went over to the door and he saw there's this
picture of Rosa Mystica. That's a title given to Mother Mary.
And he picked up the photo and he went out to look, and he thinks that it was a nun or someone who went and just slid it under the door.
That she's giving a blessing to open his dream restaurant at this particular spot. And every other achievement that he got after that, it was just like a blessing coming to him constantly. And we till date have the same picture. A man with dreams needs a woman with a vision. And that's where my mother comes into the picture. She dreamed about Fresh Catch with him. When someone entered Fresh Catch, he wanted people to feel like they are entering their own home.
He would tell people like, today this is the catch of the day. You should try this and this is, what I recommend. And people would just blindly go and like trust him and order the same thing.
The best compliment for him was when someone would eat the food and say that this reminds me of my mother's cooking.
So both my mom and dad would scrunch up whatever little bit that, they had as part of their savings just to put it towards, the business that they want to start up. There were a lot of loans that were taken, whether it was from our relatives or whether it was from, their friends or their close family friends.
The rent, people talking, all of that came and went, but he just stood and he was just patiently waiting, for the blessings to come. After some time, we suddenly started getting really popular. Like first it was word of mouth, but then we got like tons of articles coming. And he would joke with me saying that I didn't do any advertising. I didn't pay a single rupee, for Fresh Catch. We then came to know a story later.
I remember it so vividly now. So it used to be called Busy Bee, and the journalist was Behram Contractor. So this was clearly like my dad's idol in terms of like the food industry and how he wrote about food and which places to try out. He came over to the restaurant and he ate his regular meal, but dad had noticed that he had a notepad and a pen and he was writing some things down. But dad treated him like a regular customer and all of that. And maybe another 2-3 days, this big article comes about, fresh catch, and it was like we still have it on on our wall of fame. As far as our childhood is concerned, where our daily life was about fresh catch. So I don't think I'll ever have that what is next or I am next, who's taking over the business. It is never taking over. Like both my brother and me, whoever comes to the restaurant also, we never say that I am the owner or I am the co-owner. We say we are the owner's kids, or we are Francis's son and daughter, and we want to maintain it like that. For Adith and me especially, this is our way of, it's more of not an ode, but something where we know that our dad is alive, and that's how Adith and me have that sort of like a path saying that this is what we have to do.